Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Sixth Sense, the door to the temple of wisdom, the 13th step toward riches. The 13th principle is known as the Sixth Sense, through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort from or demand by the individual. This principle is the apex of the philosophy. It can be assimilated, understood, and applied only by first mastering the other 12 principles. The sixth sense is that portion of the subconscious mind which has been referred to as the creative imagination. It has also been referred to as the deceiving self, through which ideas, plans, and thought flash into the mind. The flashes are sometimes called hinges or inspirations. The sixth sense defies description. It cannot be described to a person who has not mastered the other principles of this philosophy, because such a person has no knowledge and no experience with which the six senses may be compared. Understanding of the sixth sense comes only by meditation through mind development from within. After you have mastered the principle described in this book, you may be prepared to accept the truly statement which may otherwise incredible to you, namely, through the aid of the sixth sense, you will be warned of impending danger in time to avoid them, and notice of opportunities in time to embrace them. They'll come to your aid and to do your bidding with the development of the sixth sense, a guardian angel who will open to you all the time the door to the temple of wisdom. Miracle of the sixth sense. The author is not a believer in, nor the advocate of miracles, for the reason that he has enough knowledge of nature to understand that nature never deviated from her established laws. Some of her laws are so incomprehensible that they produce will appear to be miracle. The sixth sense comes as near to being a miracle as anything I have ever experienced. This much the author doesn't know, that there is a power or a first cause or an intelligence which permeates every atom of matter and embraces every unit of energy perceptible to man. That this infinite intelligence converted acorn into oak trees, caused water to flow downhill, the response to the roar of gravity, follows night to day and winter with summer, each maintaining its proper place and relationship to the other. This intelligence may, through the principle of this philosophy, be introduced to aid of transmuting desire into concrete and material form. The author has this knowledge because he has experienced it and has experienced it. Step by step, through the preceding chapters, you have been led to this, the last principle. If you have mastered each of the preceding principles, you are now prepared to accept, without being skeptical, the stupendous claims made here. If you have not mastered the other principles, you must do so before you may determine definitely whether or not the claims made in this chapter are fact or fiction. While I was passing through the age of hero worship, I found myself trying to imitate those whom I most admired. Moreover, I discovered that the element of faith with which I endeavored to imitate my idol gave me great capacity to do so quite successfully. Let great man shape your life. I have never entirely divested myself of this habit of hero worship. My experience has taught me that the next the being truly great is to emulate the great by feeling the action and nearly as possible. Long before I had ever written a line for publication or endeavored to deliver a speech in public, I followed the habit of reshaping my own character by trying to imitate the nine men whose lives and life works had been most impressive to me. These nine men were Emerson, Paine, Edison, Dye, Lincoln, Birnback, Napoleon, Ford, and Carnegie. Every night, every long period of years, I held an imaginary council meeting with this group whom I called my invisible counselors. The procedure was this: just before going to sleep at night, I would shut my eyes and see in my imagination this group of men seated with me around my council table. Sure, I had not only an opportunity to sit among those whom I considered to be great, but I actually dominated the group by serving as the chairman. I had a very definite purpose in indulging my imagination through this nightly meeting. My purpose was to rebuild my own character so it would represent a composite of the characters of my imaginary counselors. Realizing, as I did early in life, that I had to overcome the handicap of birth in an environment of ignorance and superstition, I deliberately assigned myself to task of voluntary rebirth through the method I have described above. Building character through auto-suggestion. I knew, of course, that all men have become what they are because of their dominating thought and desire. I knew that every deeply seated desire has the effect of causing one to think on word expression through which that desire may be transmuted into reality. I knew that self-suggestion is a powerful factor in building character. That is, in fact, the sole principle through which character is built. With this knowledge of the principles of mind operation, I was fairly well armed with the equipment needed to rebuilding my character. In this imaginary council meeting, I called on my cabinet member of the knowledge I wished to contribute, addressing myself to which member in audible word as follows. Miss Emerson, I desire to acquire from you the marvelous understanding of nature which distinguished your life. I ask that you make an impression upon my subconscious mind of whatever qualities you possess, which enable you to understand and adapt yourself to the law of nature. Mr. Burbank, I request that you pass on to me the knowledge which enable you to so harmonize the law of nature. Then you cause the cactus to shed its song and become an edible food. Give me access to the knowledge which enable you to make two blades of grass grow where but one grow before. Napoleon, I desire to acquire from you, by emulation, the marvelous ability you possessed to inspire men, and to arouse them to great and more determined spirit of action, also to acquire the spirit of enduring pace, which enable you to turn the defeat into victory and to surmount staggering obstacles. Mr. Payne, I desire to acquire from you the freedom of thought and the courage and clarity with which to express convictions which so distinguished you. Mr. Dine, I wish to acquire from you the marvelous patience and ability to study cause and effect without bias and prejudice, so exemplified by you in the field of nature science. Mr. Lincoln, I desire to build into my own character the keen sense of justice, the untiring spirit of patience, the sense of humor, the human understanding, and the tolerance which were your distinguishing characteristics. Mr. Carnegie, I wish to acquire through understanding of the principle of organized effort, which you use to effectively in the building of a great industrial enterprise. Mr. Ford, I wish to acquire your spirit of persistence, the determination, poise, and self-confidence, which have enabled you to master poverty and to organize, unify, and simplify human effort, so I may help others to follow in your footsteps. Mr. Edison, I wish to acquire from you the marvelous spirit of faith, and which you have uncovered so many nature secrets, the spirit of unlimited thought, with which you have so often wrested victory from defeat.